What is going on? This is Ryan with Automatic Comics, and up next we're going to be going over the comics that I sold this week. Some really cool stuff this week, ranging all the way from Golden Age up through about Copper. Then I'm also going to go over some of the new books that I picked up in this last week, because if you're buying and selling comics, you got to buy some comics too, so we will check those out as well. Let's get into this. So before we get started, please remember to hit that like button and hit the subscribe button if you'd like to see more content like this. So I have been doing this for about the last month or so, giving a little more view into the buying and selling side of the comic business, or my comic business. So I've been going over the books that I've sold, and this time I'm also going to go over the books that I picked up in the last week, that have come in the last week. So quite a few books so far this week, 10 books, I believe it is, 5 raws and 5 graded, so a 50-50 split there. About $3,000 in comics. 9 of the ones that I sold were on eBay, so I will talk about those prices. One of them was a private sale, so I don't give out the price information for that one. But let's start getting into this. So first one, pretty big Spider-Man key. This one I picked up quite a while ago. But cool book, one that I considered getting graded, and I just hadn't done a grading submission for a while. And so what I often do with raws is, if I'm thinking about getting it graded, but I'm not going to be doing it right away, I'll put them on eBay, and then if it comes to a time when I'm going to do a submission, I'll end the listing and I'll send it out. But till then, I might as well have it up for sale, just as a possible sale, just because time costs money. So if you take more time to get the book graded and pressed and cleaned and all of that, you got to consider that side of it as well. But first one here, Amazing Spider-Man number 20, first appearance of the Scorpion. One thing I really like about this copy, and I've had a couple like this, is that it has that 10 pence stamp on it, meaning that at some point this was probably over in the UK and it found its way back. But this is still a 12-cent copy, and so that's generally the more desirable copy, the US copy, but it has that cool little pence stamp as well, just indicating that it was probably overseas at one point. But Amazing Spider-Man 20, this one sold for $450 plus shipping. Amazing Spider-Man, always popular. All right, next one. This one is it's a Bronze Age, I'll call it a key, but it's got one of those covers that people just love to collect. And so this is Green Lantern number 85. And this is the one where Speedy is a junkie. So it's the drug story, one of those infamous drug story covers. And on this cover, you also have somebody that used a fair amount of ink on it. They colored in Green Arrow's face. They gave this nice beard to Green Lantern. They added some blood, a little extra here for where Speedy was shooting up. So all kinds of fun things on this cover, but still a desirable book. And so even with those flaws, this one was $50. All right, the next one. This is from that Golden Age collection. This is actually one of the little bit pricier books from that collection. It's in that set of books that are over $100. This is Space Detective number 1 from Avon. There are 2 different Space Detectives. There's this one, and then there's a later one. This is the more desirable one. This is the more expensive book. You can see it's got the good girl art type elements to the cover. You've also got the opium smugglers of Venus. So, some fun Golden Age content on here. And this was $242.25. The person said that they gave a percentage off of whatever I had it listed at, and so that was what it ended up as. So they just said $242.25. So that's, I accepted that offer. So Space Detective number 1, a pretty cool sci-fi pre-code good girl art cover. A lot of great elements on this one. All right, next one, also from that Golden Age collection. This is Batman number 125. I don't really have anything specific to say about this one. It's just a relatively, well, I won't say it's early Batman, early Silver Age Batman. So this is Silver Age. You can see it's got the Comics Code Authority there And so Batman 125, Silver Age Batman, part of the Golden Age collection, but there was a little bit that creeped up into silver in that collection. And this one was $60. Colors are great on this copy too. It's a solid presenting copy of Batman number 125. Then last raw book, then we'll get into the graded ones, also from that Golden Age collection. This is Adventures into the Unknown number 10. And this would have been a little bit pricier book, but it is missing the centerfold, I believe. And so this one was $30. So this is one of these pre-code horror books from ACG. It's the American Comics group up there. But Adventures into the Unknown, number 10, missing the centerfold, but still $30. All right, so now we move on to the slabs. So I'm gonna move these out of the way. So the first one, a big one. We'll see how the reflection looks on this before I gotta take it out of the bag or not. This is one of the books that I got in the trade that I did for my Captain America 74, that Red Skull cover. And so this is Nintendo Power number 1 in a 6.5. Now the interesting thing with this one is this has this free sample copy here. I think the other version says it's like free poster or free poster inside. The free sample copy are the earlier, it's not really a first and second print, but kind of, sort of. It's like, this is kind of like the first print for it. It's the earlier one. There are supposedly a lot less copies. I think it's 10 times less copies of the ones that have the free sample inside. This is a 6.5 Nintendo Power number 1. I've talked about this when I got it. I think that these are fun. I think that these are cool to pick up because you just don't see them very often in high grade. You can get them for a lot cheaper. You can get them pretty affordably if you're buying a raw copy that's in really rough shape, but finding them that are actually in pretty nice condition like this, like a 6.5, is a little bit harder. Also, I mean, I grew up using Nintendo Power, playing Nintendo, all that kind of stuff, so I think that these are fun as a collectible. But this one was pretty pricey. This was $575 for Nintendo Power number 1, the free sample copy version. All right, now the next one. This is one that I got graded myself. I picked this up as part of that Vampirella collection. So that Vampirella collection also included, it was like issues 2 through around 40 of Star Trek from Gold Key, and a lot of them are very high grade. Average grades like 8 or an 8.5, and some much nicer than that. There were, I think, a couple, there's 196 or a couple 96s, there were some 94s, and then this was one of the high grade copies. This was a 9.2. This is Star Trek number 9, 9.2, white pages, and I've talked about that collection before. I mean, none of them were boarded. They were all in these like old oily bags, just kind of like stacked in boxes, and a lot of them ended up in very, very nice condition. So you can see how, if the books are just left on their own, stacked just with, even if they don't have boards, they can stay in really nice condition. They just have to be pressed to take care of little like things like stacking curls and that kind of stuff. So I had this one pressed by the comic book presser, along with a number of other Star Trek books, and this one was just one of the ones that was really, really nice. I remember taking these out of the bags and just being surprised how nice the condition was on a lot of these books, and this was one of them. Some of them it was a disappointment because like the front would be really nice, and you'd flip it over and there'd be some like dog ear on the back or something, but yeah, this one, extremely nice. 9.2 white pages, 1971, and this sold for $240 plus shipping, which is like 14 bucks, so $254 for Star Trek number 9 in a 9.2. I like that cover too. The colors are just incredible on that book. All right, the next one, this was a private sale, so I won't give the price on this one, but high grade early X-Men. This is one of those that I bought during kind of like comic boom period, and definitely took a beating. This one. Yeah, the comic boom Silver Age pickups, like you're generally gonna take a loss now when you're selling those books. But this is X-Men number 6, very early Submariner appearance in the Silver Age. So obviously Submariner had his first appearance all the way back in the Golden Age in like 1939. But his first Silver Age appearance is Fantastic Four #4, and then this is when he meets the X-Men. I don't remember if this is the first meeting of the X-Men or if he meets them in any type of earlier appearance, but early interaction with the X-Men. X-Men #6, high grade for this book, a 7.5. But yeah, no pricing information on this one, but X-Men #6, 7.5, and one of those that picked up during the comic boom and just fell after that. So what you gonna do? All right, next one. We got another X-Men book. Another one that picked up during the that comic boom period. I can't remember if I got this one graded myself or not. I don't think I did. No, the serial number tells me I probably this isn't one that I got graded because I've had a few copies of this book. Also X-Men. This is X-Men #9 in a 5.5. This is the first meeting of the X-Men and the Avengers. And so it's one of those keys that we keep expecting to be like a bigger and bigger book because you're going to have this happen at some point in the MCU. But the MCU has just been kind of like a crap show for a while. But at some point we will probably have the X-Men meeting the Avengers. But I do really like this cover. I think this is an awesome cover. You've got that split view where you've got like this underground scene with Professor X and I think that's Lucifer, down there. And then up on the top, you've got the X-Men battling the Avengers. But 5.5 off-white to white pages. This one was an eBay sale, so I can talk about that one. So this was $425. So X-Men #9, $425 for 5.5. All right, so then the last book that I sold is up next, and then we'll go over the pickups. So actually, a CBCS book, one of the 3 CBCS books that I still had sold. Pre-Code Horror, a signed book. I think this was even a witness signature. It's one of those that I was talking about that I was considering sending in to get that new CGC JSA label, and maybe that's what this person will do. I don't know. This is Menace #6, and so really cool Pre-Code Horror cover. This is a Bill Everett cover. You can see a little note up there, and the Menace run has some really good covers in it. This is from Atlas, which is that precursor to Marvel. I definitely recommend checking out the Menace run if you're interested in Pre-Code Horror. If you like Bill Everett, he's got a few covers on there. There are some very expensive books in that run. Menace #5, the one right before this, is this zombie cover. It's a very expensive book. But this one much more affordable for still a great cover and a signature. This one was $485, and you can see that there's a signature here. There it is. Kind of a silver ink. There's a John Romita signature and a witness signature on this one. This wasn't a verified signature book. Witness signature, Menace #6, signed by John Romita, in a CBCS. So only got 2 CBCS books left now. Let's see. All right, so now for the pickups. So some pretty cool stuff picked up this last week. We've got 4 raws and 1 graded book. We'll start with this one right here. This is an awesome cover. I have tried to get this book a few times. I've bid on them a few times. Finally picked this one up on Instagram from Marveled Comics, Jordy. If you've never watched his sales or anything like that, he always has really cool stuff. He always has a range of usually modern all the way back to Golden Age. He sells typically on Newsstand Comic Collectors channel. But this is Voodoo #11, and this one, it definitely has some flaws to it. It's got some like wrinkling to the cover, like it had been exposed to moisture or something at some point, but I think it is a really good pressing candidate. I am definitely planning on getting this one pressed and then graded, and I'll kind of see if you can see the so there you go. You can see there's like that indentation, angled indentation there, and then there's that kind of rippling to the cover, but looks like a book that has a lot of potential with pressing. That's the type of thing, you want to look for. You want to look for those indentations, ripples, that kind of stuff. And yeah, so Voodoo #11, awesome skull cover. I think this is such a cool skull cover with the scythe and all of that. So yeah, cool one. All right, so that was the first pickup, Voodoo #11. Next one, another one that I have bid on a number of times. Even though this is low grade, I am pretty pretty seriously considering getting this one graded as well. I also picked this one up on Instagram. This is Foxhole #1. This is, I'd call it like a classic Jack Kirby cover. So this is a run where you've got stories about people that were at war, and issue #1 is the most desirable. There are a few of the later issues that were also Kirby covers that are also very, very expensive, very tough to come by. You do not see the issues from this run all that often. #1 is definitely the one that you see pop up the most often, but the later issues are a lot more scarce. At least from what I've seen, when I see them pop up for sale, it doesn't happen very often. And you usually see some pretty big numbers when they go up even for auction, that kind of thing. But you can see it's got kind of that dark humor on the front. Dear Mom, war is like a picnic. Today we spent a day at the beach, and pretty violent war scene in the background there. But Foxhole #1, a Jack Kirby cover. All right, next one, also picked up on Instagram. This one is very much so incomplete. It's missing, I can't remember, it's multiple pages, it's got cutouts on the inside and everything, but the front cover still looks great, and that's really the most important thing with these books. I mean, it's nice to have them as complete, but if it's going to be a 0.5 and incomplete, you still want the front cover to look nice. This is Planet Comics #29. And I knew it was a 0.5 when I bought it, so there wasn't anything like this was a surprise and I was disappointed about that. But Planet Comics #29. And just the Planet Comics books always have these sci-fi good girl art covers. That's basically what Planet Comics is. It's sci-fi good girl art. And you can see you've got like the spaceship scene and everything in the back there. These guys with, looks like ray guns, shooting at this monster goblin creature, carrying off this woman. But Planet Comics #29, incomplete. You know, it's a 0.5, but still cool looking early cover from this run. All right, now the last raw, and then we'll get on to the one graded book. This, I think, is just one of the cool covers from this run. A lot of the covers in this run I don't care for all that much, but I think this one has just a cool feel to it. And this is a really nice presenting copy. It has some definite spine damage. That's what's going to hurt this one, but I am planning on getting this one graded as well. This is World's Finest #37. World's Finest, and pretty much like all the, at least the early covers, feature Batman, Superman, and Robin, and this is no exception. And this one, it just has that simple look to it. That's one of the things I like about it. A lot of the World's Finest ones are really kind of like jokey, hokey type covers. And I mean, this one, it's still them standing on each other's shoulders. It's not like it's some serious cover, but it's just something a little more simple about it. The yellow background, you know, Batman, Superman, Robin on there. But you can tell, I mean, it is a very nice presenting copy of this book. The main issue is along the spine. Let's see if you can see it. Like, there's just a lot of paper loss along the spine. But it is complete. It's all there. It's all attached. The pages aren't loose or anything like that. There's a little bit of like a stacking curl over here, so I am planning on getting it pressed to hopefully fix that a little bit and then get it graded. So World's Finest #37. Just a cool Superman, Batman, Robin, Golden Age cover. All right, now the last book that I picked up. I've never owned it. I bid on it a few times. Cool Alex Schomburg cover. This is Submariner Comics #11. It's a lower grade copy, a 1.5, but a great presenting copy. And the reason it presents so well at the lower grade is it is a detached cover, and it is also missing a piece out of page 28 that affects the story. It's got that little note up there. But 1.5, off-white pages, Schomburg cover. Amazing colors on this copy. I mean, the reds are really, really deep. The colors are really bright on this one. This one's got, you know, it's got Submariner. You've got a dragon that's trying to eat this woman, so he's saving this woman. It's got that good girl element. It's got whatever's going on with this guy over here. He's got the crazy eyes. He's trying to, I don't know if he's trying to stab Submariner or if he's trying to stab the dragon. That's one of the things that's always been a little confusing to me on this cover. I don't know if this guy back here is a bad guy or a good guy. He's drawn like a bad guy. I mean, generally guys that have these kind of like cult type hooded robe things on the cover, they're the bad guys. But I can't tell if he's trying to help, like stab the dragon or what. But regardless, Submariner #11. the one that I think is the best cover of the run. I mean, I know there's a lot. I posted about this on Instagram, and there are different covers that people like more than others. But to me, this is the best cover of the run. But Submariner number 11, Schomburg cover, all kinds of amazing elements on it. Just a really great cover with, color strike and everything on this one. Deep colors on this copy. So, those are all the books that I picked up. Those are all the books that I sold. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you did, please hit that like button, subscribe button, notification bell, and I will see you on the next one.